Now, we can argue all day on which system will be more powerful, but the truth is, guys, that most likely both systems will be very similar in hardware, and both will probably run very similar as well. And if I gave you or myself, the average consumer, a SCUF controller and had you play a game on Xbox One or PS4, as well as Xbox Series X and PS5, you probably wouldn't know which system you were playing on unless you went to the dashboard and cheated. In this video, we're going to talk about the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X hardware that we do know and how they will be similar. We're going to speculate a little, and at the end, we're going to finally talk about what I believe to be the main difference between these two upcoming consoles will be, and in my opinion, it's not really the hardware. Welcome back, guys. Now, you guys know I'm not a channel that likes to post videos on the daily about a subject that we actually don't have that much information about, but it has been a while since I've talked about the PS5 or Xbox Series X. Now, we do have some confirmed information. We're going to talk about some refreshers, but mainly we're going to talk about what I think the main difference between the Xbox Series X and the PS5 will actually be. So for starters, let's talk hardware. Now, I truly believe that no matter if one console is technically more powerful than the other, I think generally they will be very much alike, just like the Xbox One and PS4 were. A lot of your actual gaming experiences come down to the actual game developers, guys. Sony and Microsoft are both extremely powerful companies. They have a lot of tools at their disposal, so it's safe to say that one console will probably not be significantly noticeably better than the other when actually in a game on a game that plays on both consoles. But it's still fun to talk about, and actually Xbox is supposedly going to be launching a cheaper version of their upcoming console, which might make a debate like this more reasonable to have, but for now we don't know much about that. So for PS5, Sony said that they will be using an 8-core 16-thread CPU, which is a processor based on AMD's Zen 2 base. Now for a GPU, which is basically the graphics card, they will be using one based on Navi architecture, which is apparently capable of rendering ray tracing, which is sweet, guys. We didn't get much of that with PS4, so this will actually create a noticeable difference in this next generation console. Now, ray tracing typically has to do with lighting in a game, guys. It makes the lighting look much more realistic, which makes the graphics look much better. Now, Xbox is also apparently using AMD's Zen 2 architecture for their CPU, which some have rumored means it will be 4 times as powerful as the Xbox One X. If that's true, the PS5 will also be significantly more powerful than the PS4 and PS4 Pro. We are hearing rumors that Xbox Series X will be more powerful than the PS5, but that could mean a lot of things, guys, and of course, these are just rumors. Like I said, power doesn't mean it will be a better system, and it doesn't even mean that games will necessarily run better. Once we get all the true factual specs of these systems, there will be plenty of websites and channels that break this down to a T. I'm not really smart enough for that, but I am smart enough to know that both systems will likely be pretty sick, and choosing one over the other just because of power is probably not the right move. 4K 60 FPS is probably the main goal for both consoles, and there has been talk about 8K support as well, but I doubt we will be getting full-fledged 8K support games anytime in the near future. 4K is still not even really a huge thing. It's just now starting to become the norm. But if you're like me, you don't even have the TV or monitor to even watch anything in true 4K right now, but eventually that will change. Now, the PS5 and Xbox Series X are both confirmed to have Ultra HD Blu-ray drives. Now, my guess is if Xbox actually releases a cheaper version of their main console, the cheaper version will probably not include things like the Blu-ray drive to save you some money on things that you might not need. Both are said to have similar controllers to their previous versions, but the DualShock 5, we've been told, will have a new vibration system, haptic feedback, better triggers, and improved battery life. Yay. Both the PS5 and Xbox will be using the new solid-state drives, as we call them SSDs, for the console storage of your games. And yeah, guys, that's going to make loading times insanely quicker. So loading times will probably be one of the most noticeable changes from the new gen to the previous gen consoles this time. Of course, the graphics and stuff will be better, but the load times are going to speed up faster than 8 times the speed from previous gen consoles, we are told, for some games, and sometimes it might even eliminate load times completely. Now, the real test, guys, will be to take Anthem and put it in your new consoles and see how long the loading screens take. If you can break the 2-minute mark, then it's a success. Now, there's not really much out to actually see the graphics on these new systems. Of course, we had cinematic clips, but cinematic scenes don't really tell you how the game is going to be. So yeah, some of PS5 Godfall gameplay has been leaked, but none of the leaked gameplay is meant to be presented to the public. It was all footage from inside the company, which means they could have had it at a much worse quality than what we will see for the sake of the development process. When they actually present gameplay to us, the public, I'm sure that gameplay is going to look much nicer than what we saw. So where the main differences in these consoles seem to be are not really in the hardware, but more so on how you will acquire your games. Xbox seems to be really focusing on their Xbox Game Pass, where you pay a monthly subscription to play many Xbox games, including any official first-party games that come out. This is an interesting way to handle gaming, and it hasn't really been around too much for the past 15-20 years, but we did see it with the Sega channel back in the day for anyone who remembers and is old. This monthly subscription that lets you download and play games can work very well, but it also can have its downsides. But it seems like this might become a new way of the future, and that this model of gaming has been putting pressure on Sony to expand on this style as well. Now, we were told in an interview from Microsoft's head of Xbox Game Studios that there will be no Xbox Series X exclusives at launch. Now, that seems like a bad idea, right? Well, yeah, it could be, but Microsoft seems to have a plan behind it, and it seems like they are focusing really hard on this Microsoft Xbox ecosystem and not trying to alienate players into forcing them to get an Xbox Series X if they can't afford one, or just want to continue playing on the Xbox One, or even if they just play PC, which is also heavily involved in this Xbox Microsoft ecosystem. So yeah, they did announce backwards compatibility with the Xbox One, so any Microsoft Xbox games should work on the Xbox One as well, which is actually pretty cool. So this further proves that Microsoft is heavily investing in their ecosystem and not as much into the actual specific system itself. That doesn't mean that the actual Xbox Series X system will be bad. Like I said, I think that it will be very similar to the PS5 and possibly even more powerful, like people are saying. It's a cool idea. We shall see how this works out. Now, Sony also did announce backwards compatibility with the PS4 as well, which I think was a good idea, for it seems like the gaming community overall wants it. The architecture within the systems from the PS4 to the PS5 will allow this time, whereas before with the PS3, the console's inner workings were just too different for this really to be possible in a reasonable way with the PS4 and PS3. But even with this backwards compatibility, some games still might be developed as PS5 only exclusives, which I'm personally okay with because I do plan on getting a PS5, and I think marketing wise it makes more people want to buy the next gens faster. But of course, not everyone can afford a new console, so it's sad to leave people out. So yeah, Sony will continue to do PlayStation exclusive games, whether they are PS5 exclusives or both PS4 and PS5 will depend on a game-to-game basis, but I think having these Sony exclusives is a great idea for PlayStation. Exclusive titles on the PS4 seem to be one of the main reasons so many people bought PS4 over Xbox. PS4 sold 103 million units, while Xbox One sold only 42 million, guys. A huge difference. So why fix something that's not broke? So expect some pretty amazing PlayStation exclusives that will make Microsoft players probably cry like I did when Sea of Thieves was said to never come to PlayStation. To be honest, in my opinion, the best combination of gaming that you guys can have, if you have the money, is to have a PlayStation as well as a gaming PC. PC gaming is a beast. There's so many more choices for games, you never get bored, and a nice gaming PC will obviously run much better than a console, and you can always update them with time. But once you have a PC, there's really no sense in having an Xbox when basically every game that comes out on Xbox is also on PC. So having a PlayStation and access to all those awesome Sony exclusives, as well as having a gaming PC to still experience Microsoft, gives you many choices and just a lot to do overall. Xbox and PlayStation will continue to offer their live streaming game services and probably continue to beat Google Stadia. So expect to see more of that style of gaming with the new consoles. If you guys are confused what I'm talking about, for Google Stadia, you don't download or actually buy a physical copy of games. You just pick up whatever device you have, a phone or whatever, and go on the Google Stadia app or something. I don't know what it is. You can go on your smart TV and you actually live stream the video game that you're playing from their servers. So you don't have to have a nice console, a nice PC. All the graphics and all that rendering is being done by their servers and live streaming to you. Of course, it has its problems, but it does seem like it's going to be the way of the future, even if we're not ready for it yet. So we're going to probably see more of that with the Xbox Series X and PS5. For cross-platform gaming, I'm thinking we can expect to see more of that in the future as well, which is awesome. We are seeing it more and more in games these days, Modern Warfare and Fortnite being prime examples. Xbox to PS5 I think is great. Both are consoles with players using controllers. It seems like a fair bet to have these players face off against each other, and the sense of rivalry, even though it's kind of stupid, is fun. I think allowing PC players to play with console is great too, but of course it should be in its own unranked form of matchmaking when in more competitive based games, because controller versus keyboard is just not the same. For pricing, we still don't know, guys. It will be very interesting to see when we get an official answer. Many people are thinking that they will be pricing these consoles higher than the previous gens because gaming in general seems to have more of a demand, which means they can sell things at a higher price and still get people to buy. Now, if there's going to be two versions of Xbox, the question is, will they price one at 600, then one at 300? We really don't know. It'll be interesting to see what plays out for that. So the main difference between these two systems seems like it won't be the hardware itself, but more so that the Xbox will be focusing on this ecosystem of getting you into the world of their product, whether it be through Xbox One, Xbox Series X, or even when you're playing PC. And once you become a part of the Xbox Microsoft ecosystem, you will have access to a lot with your monthly subscriptions, and maybe it will be the model of future gaming. PlayStation seems like they will be continuing to go on like their previous PS4, selling highly anticipated exclusive games and just giving us what we want, which obviously worked very well with the PS4. However, it has been rumored that Sony might be opening up to put some of their games on PC as well, guys. In particular, PlayStation's Horizon Zero Dawn has been rumored to be coming to PC at some time. And of course, we already know that Death Stranding will be coming to PC in summer 2020. So it's probably safe to say that most people won't be able to notice much of a difference while actually playing games on either console. Both consoles will be very powerful, but more so people's overall experience on how they acquire their games will be different. Time will tell, my friends. Hopefully we get some new information soon, and I will make sure to update you guys whenever we get any groundbreaking information. I'm not going to just release videos every day on pure speculation. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I release all sorts of videos on this channel, ranging from comedy videos to game reviews to tutorials, and I also do live streams multiple times a week. I would love to see some of you guys stop in and say hello. I appreciate your support, guys. I'll see you on the next one.